Welcome to 50 Shades of Grape. This is Monica, and I am with Ryan Peterson of Peterson Land Management, and we're here in the Dry Creek Valley. And Ryan, tell us about the land we're standing on. So set the stage.
So this is the Fall Creek Ranch. This vineyard was purchased in 1945 by my grandparents. At that point, there was very little vineyard on it, mostly prunes and some hay, apples, and a little bit of grapes. Over the years, the family's pulled out the prunes and other commodities, and it's all 40 acres of planted vineyard now, mostly of Zinfandel. The block we're in today, it goes to Alexander Valley Vineyards and is a major portion of their redemption label. So this is going to get picked in a couple of days. These are just normal, typical Zinfandel grapes, very large bunches, and this is a type of training and pruning style that's cordon trained, spur pruned on a T-trellis system. So I'm just going to give you a little background on what we do throughout the year in the vineyard. We start sometime between December and February with pruning. The vines will be dormant, there'll be no leaves on them. And as you can see, these canes are what grew this last year. We'll prune these back to 2 buds, so it'll be about that long. Out of each of these buds, we'll push a spur, push a cane for next year, which will have 2 bunches on it. So if you look at some of these, this here has 1 bunch. This is a cane that grew, has 1 bunch there and 1 bunch there. So most canes have 2 bunches on them, and we expect 2 bunches off of them in the growing season. So when we come through in the springtime or winter time, we prune it back to those 2 spurs, and then we've put in a cover crop in the vineyard to help boost the soil. That'll be some sort of legume, clover, vetch. Then as the cover crop grows and the vines start to grow, we mow the cover crop, disc the vineyard, and then we start training the vines. So as these shoots grow, green shoots, we'll train them up through these wires to help catch them. It keeps the foliage sort of hanging out, which keeps good airflow and sunlight penetration for down here where the grapes end up. Sometime in April, May, they will go ahead and the bunches will flower and pollinate, and we'll start to see berries start forming throughout throughout the year. We'll go ahead and make sure that there aren't any pests in the vineyard. If we need to spray for mildew or botrytis, mildew and botrytis get on the bunches and deter from the quality of the grapes. Pests like mites or leaf hoppers, we try and make sure they stay within a range that don't detriment the canopy, which will injure the leaves and affect the ability of the plant to put sugar and flavor into the bunches. So throughout the year, we're doing things like shoot positioning. More than the buds that we left may push, and so we may get canes that push out of the older wood. They're called suckers, so we have to come take those off so that the growth is just focused in the canes that we want. Sometimes we'll come through and pull leaves to help get more sunlight and air penetration, which helps with color development, flavor development, and also it will lower the risk of mildew and botrytis the more airflow we have through it, so we don't have to spray as much. As the year goes along, color starts to develop. At a point that the grapes start to turn from a green color to purple is called veraison. At veraison, we have a couple months left till they are of sugar that we can harvest them. What we look for in most red grapes is around a 24 to 26 Brix sugar. It's a measurement of the sugar in the grape. The wineries will also look at pH levels and TA, or tartratable acids. Acid is one of the things that is higher generally in the coastal regions because sun and heat burn the acid out of it, but we want a decent amount of acid in a wine. It helps for wine longevity. So that's one of the reasons why the coastal regions tend to be premier wine growing regions. So in the fall, starting probably depending on the block and the variety, in August we'll start testing sugars and tracking sugar all the way to harvest. The winery's been out here probably 4 or 5 times in the last month and a half and has decided that the grapes are ready to be picked. So It's Monday morning, a couple days. We are going to go ahead and pick this block. What we look for is an average of about 5 tons to the acre. We do all hand picking with this Zinfandel. So we'll have a crew or a couple crews of 8 guys picking these grapes, and they'll pick them into a 40-pound lug and put them into a 2.5-ton bin. We'll put those on the truck and take them to the winery.